A case before an Egyptian court could have major implications for Christians. Hello everyone, I'm George Thomas.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. What would you do if your government designated you a Muslim just because your father converted to Islam? That's what happened to two teenage brothers in Egypt. Now they filed a legal challenge to retain their Christian identity, and the landmark decision may come as early as next week. CBN Chief International Correspondent Gary Lane has the story from Cairo.
Meet Andrew and Mario Labib, 15-year-old twin brothers in Egypt. They were born into a Coptic Christian family, but their father later converted to Islam, and now their government says they are Muslim. That's significant because that's the designation that will be placed on their national identity cards when they turn 16 this June. The twins say their father Ramses became a Muslim only because he wanted to divorce their mother, which is prohibited in the Coptic faith. The boys insist they should not be forced to be regarded as Muslims just because their father converted. They want to be designated as Christians on their ID cards.
No one has the right to ask us to change it. Christianity is a religion that I was born in, and I used to it. I love Jesus and I believe in him, and I want to serve him.
The identity card fight is just the most recent in a series of legal battles for the family. After the divorce, the father was granted custody of the boys because the courts traditionally favor a Muslim parent in custody battles. But in an unprecedented move, a high court awarded their mother Camilla custody on appeal. She told us, "This custody verdict hasn't happened for about 100 years. God has created them and has given them this faith, this blessing, and I am responsible to make sure they are safe and have all their rights." That includes the right to choose their own religion. If the court denies that right and they are designated Muslims on their identity cards, Andrew and Mario would not be able to marry in the Coptic Church. Their children would be designated Muslim as well, even if their mother was a Christian. They'd also be forced to take Islamic studies in school and could be held back a grade if they fail testing in the course. But in a Muslim-dominated society that persecutes Christians, there may be advantages to being identified as a Muslim.
It would be easier, but I don't want it. I believe in Christianity. Why do I change it?
The worst-case scenario, if the court rules against the twins, their brother George fears they may pay the ultimate price for continuing to practice their Christian faith.
Any Muslim who converts back to whatever religion he had before would be death. Someone could actually try to kill them.
Andrew and Mario say the court can change their Egyptian identity, but not their hearts.
I will stay Christian in my heart, even if some papers made me become Muslim, but I want to be Christian. I will pray for Christianity, and I will stay Christian in my heart. We believe that through Jesus we can go to heaven, and if we believe in him, we don't have to be slaves. He loves us and we love him.
All of Egypt is awaiting this verdict, and it could be precedent-setting. Whether or not two 15-year-old twin boys, Mario and his brother Andrew, are allowed to maintain their Christian identity, something they've had since birth, or be forced to become Muslims. Gary Lane, CBN News, Cairo, Egypt.
And Gary is back with us here from Egypt. What are the chances, Gary, that these twins can win the case next week?
Well, their mother is hopeful because she had a landmark case that she won just for custody of these two boys. That hadn't happened for it hadn't happened for 100 years, where a Christian had been given custody of boys who were declared Muslim. But she's hopeful. She thinks this may go her way.
Now, the mom, this is more than just about these two twin boys. Is that you got some insight?
She said it's much bigger than just Egypt or her boys, but for all of Egypt. She and others that are advocating human rights want to see a new generation rise up in Egypt that is committed to human rights, secularism. She wants to see the Constitution not be just words, she says, but also actions. She said right now they're not practicing what they preach in the Constitution.
This identity card is not just specific, limited to Egypt. It's in other parts of the Muslim world.
Well, you know, about 2 years ago, there was a woman by the name of Lena Joy in Malaysia. And Lena Joy fought a battle. She lost that battle in Malaysia. She had converted from Islam to Christianity. This, of course, her boys have always been Christians. So we'll see what happens here, but it could be a landmark ruling.
And why is this significant, this identity card? Is it so important in the Egyptian culture?
Well, not just the Egyptian culture, but also Islamic culture.
Yeah.
But here's what the European court said, the European Commission court said. They said against Turkey, they said you've got to do away with these ID cards because it's a violation of human rights. So Turkey said, yeah, we'll do away with it.
And on this, and I've seen these ID cards before traveling in the Middle East, it does say religion, Christianity,
Christian
or Muslim.
But here's what Christians are concerned about. They'll replace saying Christian or Muslim with a number system that will also designate Christian or Muslim. Say number 1 for Muslim, number 2 for Christian, so you'd still know if someone's a Christian or a Muslim.
Okay. You will keep us updated on our broadcast next
I've got
week.
more on this in the future.
Terrific. Gary Lane, our Chief International Correspondent, just in from Cairo, Egypt. Sir, thank you for your analysis.